Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2026 Mini John Cooper Works Countryman All 4. Huge shout out to Hendrick Mini for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. This JCW is finished off in a slate blue metallic, and the MSRP is just over $52,000. This is powered by the 2-liter inline 4-cylinder turbo. It's paired to a 7-speed dual clutch automatic and pumps out 312 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,800-pound vehicle from 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds, and it has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 14.3 gallons. You'll expect to see 23 miles per gallon in the city and 30 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 106 inches. Its overall length is 175.1. It has a width of 72.6, a height of 63.7, and its ground clearance measures in at 8 inches. Now, as we move on to the exterior styling for the 2026 year model, there's really no significant changes compared to the previous model. However, now you have the ability to lock and unlock the vehicle using your smartphone. So you can get an app on your phone in order to do some of those functions. Now up front, you'll notice there's a sensor nicely integrated into this grille for the distance pacing and some of that tech. There's also a forward camera underneath that, parking sensors as well. You'll notice the John Cooper Works badge, and then a really neat design for the dark housing with the LEDs for the headlights, and then the DRL and the turn signal that surrounds the entire outer ring there, which is neat to see. You'll notice there's some red accents up front too, and then plenty of cutouts in basically the entire front area. So the whole grille, the lower section too, where there's also a gloss black trim accent for the lower bumper, and then some really neat lines coming down the hood along with the indentations on both sides of the Mini badge. Definitely gives it a muscular front end appearance for this smaller vehicle. Now, being the John Cooper Works, it has the sport brakes finished off in red. This model also has the floating center caps, so they will stay upright while the wheel is spinning, which is a neat factory option. And then there's the solid spokes for the wheels there. Being the JCW, this also has a sport suspension that is adaptable too. Now, this also has power folding side mirrors with a camera and a turn signal. You'll notice there's more gloss black for both the fender flares as well as the lower side skirt, and the entire top of the vehicle is gloss black. So it has that two-tone design to it with the roof rack along with the full moon roof as well. You'll notice the John Cooper Works badge with all 4 just behind the passenger door, which is a neat accent to see. And then in back, there's the third brake light, the wiper blade, LEDs for the lighting, where this still has the iconic flag design within that housing. There's also a backup camera, parking sensors, gloss black, and then a quad tip dual exhaust. Now, as we work our way to the cargo space, you can use the release on the key fob or the control underneath, and it has a power lift gate, where this has a good bit of space for its smaller size. So you can definitely place in some items. You'll notice too, under the floor, there is a spare tire, and you have a little bit of space if you want to place some items there. Now, of course, this is removable, and you can fold the seats down to get that much more interior space. So if you're not looking for a large vehicle, this can definitely suffice. Now, there's 2 controls up top to either close that lift gate or to lock the vehicle. Now, if you do lock it, you will have to grab the door handle. There's no proximity door handle for the rear. Or you can use the key fob, of course, where this also has remote start. So if you lock it, you can triple tap on this in order to start it up and to shut it off. And then, of course, we can now enter the back seats, where this has a really neat design. You'll notice this fabric material on the upper section with the release handle and the brush trim. There's also a lot of storage in the lower section, and then the window control. And then moving on to these seats, they're finished off in black with all the red stitching. In order to recline them and to fold the seat, there's this strap right here that you can pull on, and they will fold flat, allowing you to place in a lot of items. As you can tell, there's a huge cutout there to do so. And then that seat will lock up in a very upright position. However, you can use that strap to recline it from there. Now, at 5'10", I have a good bit of space. You'll notice storage pockets. There's temperature adjustments with some auxiliaries and vents, a little bit of storage down below. And then at my height, I have maybe 2 inches or so of headroom. So again, for its smaller size, this is perfect for adults. I could ride around town, maybe go on a short road trip, and be perfectly okay riding in the back. You'll notice too, there's the armrest with cup holders. For your middle seat passenger, the top of the seatbelt is located up in the headliner, so that can nicely store out of the way. And then you have some large windows in order to see around the pillar in the back. Now up front, You'll notice all of the window controls, side mirror adjustments, lock and unlock. This is also equipped with Harman Kardon for the audio. And then there's a liftgate release, even more storage down below. And with the iconic package, it provides it with the power operating front seats, which also have memory seating adjustments. And these are a really nice sporty design for the seats with the red stripe there, the two-tone look, along with the bolster support. And as we hop in, we're greeted with a solid and perforated steering wheel. Really nice bulges on both sides for good hand grip. You'll notice this strap in the lower section with the John Cooper Works badge. But let's start this up and take a listen to it. So with my foot on the brake, just twist this middle control. We can bring this to life. And now coming back to all of the tech features, there's not a traditional gauge cluster right behind the steering wheel. However, this does have a head-up display, which you can easily view from the driver's seat. So currently I'm looking at miles per hour. There's also power, fuel, and the speed limit sign. It's going to be much easier to see in person, of course. And then for the rest of the steering wheel, there's cruise control settings on the left. You'll notice the ambient lighting strips to indicate this does have distance pacing. There's volume, music, there's shortcuts to your Bluetooth and voice commands, along with a favorites button as well. So that shortcut will actually appear on this head-up display where you can go through that shortcut and customize it as needed. There's also paddle shifters on both sides. And then to the left, there's an air vent. You have your headlight adjustments on the turn signal stalk, and then of course wiper blades are on the right stalk there. Really neat trim design for the dash here. And then an intricate pattern with a speaker. You'll notice some vents up top too. And then a majority of the information is going to be right in the middle on this very large circular infotainment system. So you'll notice currently we have the climates on, where you can also see power up top, miles per hour, fuel, and range, very similar to what you will notice on the head-up display. In the lower section, you can go through all of this, and those are going to stay fixed. So you can easily get into your phone. You can pull up the navigation. On the home screen, you can swipe through all of these widgets. So just depending on what you need to get into, it's very touch sensitive. So it's very easy to scroll through and activate this information. If you push on those 6 squares, you can get into all of these icons here. So you can get into some console games, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you have your climate adjustments, doors and windows, even a drive recorder. There's different driving settings to get into as well. So you can go through some of that information. And then if we go back into those icons, you have your camera system. There is quite a lot that you can scroll through here, just depending on what you would like to set up. So you have a lot of configurability for this. You can also push on this shortcut here that gets you into some of your music, and then we can get back into the climates. Now you'll notice too on the left and the right, we can pull up the heated steering wheel, the heated seats, get through the temperature adjustments, and then you can also push on the back arrow here and basically go back through what you just went through, which is neat. Super easy to use. You can also swipe up from the bottom, and you have some shortcuts you can get into and configure that as well. Now underneath that, there's volume on the right, and you have different experiences. So these are basically the different drive modes, and they also all have a tone to them. So when you go into each one, not only will it change the gauge cluster color, but it will also play this neat audio tune. And you can go through all of these depending on the throttle response you want as well. And it definitely gives it a cool look too. So you even have a trail mode to go through some off-roading with that all-wheel drive system. And then more of a sporty design too. That is really neat to see. So you have all of those. Some of them are functional. Some of them are just a gimmick, just depending on what you would like to view. Now there's the engine start stop. So twist it to the right to turn it on, twist it to the left to shut it off. And then there's the gear selector. So flick that upwards and you have the camera system where there's also a few shortcuts to get around. And then you can go through the top here to go through a few more. You can pull up the 3D view and go through that. You can even swipe around the vehicle as well. So just depending on what you'd like to see, there's another top-down view too. And then there's drive and sport mode to use the paddles. The e-brake is also going to be park. There's defrosters underneath that, hazards, a shortcut to the camera system, and then this control here gets you into some of those drive settings that I showed earlier. Now there's also wireless charging underneath that with this lip here, so your phone will stay nice and secure. You have storage under that along with cup holders, even more storage and auxiliaries down below, and you have this hidden storage bin right in the middle with that strap. The center armrest is fixed, and meaning it doesn't open, but it does slide forwards or backwards if you need a little bit more comfort. And then you have plenty of space in the glove box. Now you also have the rear view mirror, and then up top there's adjustments for the sunshade and sunroof, and then dome lights too. And then here's a look at visibility. Pretty easy to see all around. For this boxy, smaller vehicle, you can definitely see over both shoulders. As we sat up behind the wheel now for this JCW, I don't get to drive these all that often, so it's really neat to check these out when I am able to. The JCWs seem to be a model that go pretty quickly. A lot of people like this higher trim level and what these have to offer. Now for the 26-year model, it's worth noting that the manual transmission has been discontinued. Now I believe that Mini made a limited edition or a final run of some manuals for the 26-year model. I doubt I will be able to see one of those and drive them. So basically, buyers are going with the automatic for the latest JCW. I think that is kind of interesting to see. The manual in the JCW was a lot of fun. I have been able to experience them in the past, and it definitely gives it a sporty and fun drive. With this model though, we have the 7-speed dual clutch, so it still is going to be engaging and fun to drive. It's just interesting to see the manual go away. Now with this model in general, this is a nice smaller size. Basically it's a compact SUV. It's almost in a class of its own. For its smaller size though, it feels very large, like you're in a larger vehicle. It's still pretty narrow of course, but I don't feel claustrophobic. It definitely provides you with a lot of interior space for its sizing. So with the boxy look, not only does that give it a great exterior, but it also makes it functional for all of your passengers to be comfortable. So if you're driving a lot in the city, maybe you just don't want a big vehicle, but you want a big cargo size and space for all of your passengers, it's definitely a great option to go with. So now let's put this into the John Cooper Works mode, where we get that go-kart feel. And then from second gear with a small acceleration, here we go. That definitely sounds good. It's popping there a little bit. The shifts are going to be super quick with the dual clutch. So it's nice that they have a very nice transmission for this model. It's going to be super smooth. And on the left side, there's also the boost paddle. So if I go up into 6th gear, where that will be on the infotainment system, it does not show on that head-up display. If I hold on that paddle for a few seconds, we have a countdown from 10 and it downshifted to 3rd gear. So you have 10 seconds to accelerate, to get up to speed, to merge, whatever you need to do. Kind of a funky design to see right in the middle. Now I will say that is something on previous Mini Coopers that I've reviewed, everything being right here, so you have to look right instead of at the head-up display. I think it would be nice to see a little bit more information on the head-up display so you don't have to look right, but it is something that you will get used to. Really no different than looking down at your gauge cluster versus just looking right for a second at the screen. So I could see it both ways. That is one gripe I have seen from comments, having more on the head-up display. So a little bit more configurable, maybe a little bit larger would be nice to see. But in terms of how this drives, since I have been in the Countryman before, it's a nice vehicle to drive. It's super smooth, very refined feeling, and the turning radius is great. So like I mentioned earlier, if you're driving in the city a lot, parallel parking, things like that, it's going to be super easy to drive. These seats are also fantastic. I love the bolster support on both sides. They hug me well for my body type, and they are adjustable, at least for the driver's side here. So you do get the height adjustment. I'm not sure if it's height adjustment on the passenger side, but it is power operating. And I have 4 inches of headroom. This is very impressive. You could be 6 feet tall or taller and fit in this smaller vehicle. So that's also very impressive to see. And still in the JCW setting from first gear, here we go. You can see on the head-up display, it does show your tach revving out in a line diagram, and then there's shift lights on the left and the right. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that from the camera perspective, but from my eye view, I can see that. So it is helpful to have that. What gear you're in, however, is all the way over here. So you do have to glance right if you want to see your gearing. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the latest JCW Countryman. this is a really fun vehicle to drive. It's very lightweight and nimble too, so if you're looking for a vehicle where you could have some sporty driving fun with this, you could take it on some back roads. It may not be the most performance-oriented vehicle, but there's plenty of power to get up to speed, and with the all-wheel drive system as well, you'll be able to corner fairly well with this model. So I'm assuming that you could have some sporty fun in this JCW, especially with the suspension that this particular model has. So if you're looking for something that is going to be great for commuting, going on long road trips, maybe you're driving through the mountains, this is definitely something that can handle those twisties and just give you confidence going through some situations like that. And then at the end of the day, it's just going to be a normal daily driver. You just have some added power and performance. So I think it's a good blend if you're looking for a vehicle like this. Maybe not the largest for cargo, unless you have the seats folded down. Yeah, it's definitely got a good low-end torque power there for these slower speeds that I'm doing today. But this is a neat vehicle. All of the materials are super nice as well. So for its pricing, it's competing with some vehicles that are more expensive that even offer plastic. There's some plastic on the dash here, but other than that, everything else is very nice. And I think the layout is great too. I will say it would be nice if there was a manual transmission that was available, just to give it a little bit more of a sporty feel. But other than that, it is a very neat vehicle to drive. So let's do one last acceleration. We'll downshift, downshift. So from first gear, here we go. Slight turn that we have up here to at least showcase some of the handling. And this is a fun vehicle, so I can see the appeal to going with the Mini Cooper, and with the JCW, you have some nice options that are also functional too. So that is going to wrap it up for this JCW Countryman. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Mini for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.